One of Studio Ghibli's most successful films was Howl's Moving Castle, which is now available on Blu-ray. This features an all-star cast that includes Christian Bale and Emily Mortimer and Billy Crystal, to name a few.
I'm an extremely powerful fire demon named Calcifer. I just like to do that once in a while.
It tells the story of Sophie, a young girl who works in her mother's hat shop, who encounters Howl, an incredible, fantastical, flamboyant magician who sort of sweeps her off her feet in this brief encounter. And an evil sea witch type of woman appears in front of her and casts this horrible spell on her, turning her into an old woman. And so begins the adventure of Sophie and Howl and his moving castle.
It's a fascinating movie that I do enjoy, but at the same time, as been documented, my feelings about Miyazaki, I wish that I loved him. I wish that I did, but I just don't. The movies lose me at times. There are things that Howl, the character, does that just don't ring true to me, and they kind of pull me out of it, and I lose sight of what is happening in the movie.
I've had enough of this place!
The visuals of it are compelling. It's almost like take away the dialogue. You could just watch these images and be moved by the story.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But there are just those things where I get right up to the door, but I don't cross the threshold into being like, I'm completely on board.
If you take me out that door, the castle could collapse!
Good!
I really enjoyed this movie, but it was one of those things where I wasn't expecting to walk away thinking about it and thinking about like aspects of the plot that interested me, and it has a surprising amount of depth. And I think Miyazaki films always play with different themes, and they're always working on multiple levels. This one did feel a little bit more layered in that sense, and in a way I like that about the film, but it also, for me, some of the intricacies of the plot sort of got me a little bit lost.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't get lost with other Miyazaki films. That said, I did really enjoy this film. There's not a lot of special features,
but they are interesting, and I think this is largely because of John Lasseter, but there is this cross-the-world connection between Studio Ghibli and Pixar, because John Lasseter is the biggest Miyazaki fan. He loves him. One special feature is basically just Miyazaki going to Pixar and him and John Lasseter hugging for like 8 minutes. That's the special feature. Miyazaki asked Lasseter to do the English language dub of this movie, to direct it, and Lasseter was busy on one of his masterpieces at Pixar, but he passed the duty over to one of his understudies there, which was Pete Docter, who at the time, this was right after Finding Nemo. And seeing Pete Docter tackle this movie is kind of a fascinating presence, to come from an American animation background and have to kind of join those together. I thought that was very interesting.
Stay here. Calcifer will protect you from the henchmen.
If you're a fan of Miyazaki and you haven't seen this film, obviously you definitely need to look at this. The Blu-ray is beautiful. If you are a fan of his and you have seen this work, then you already know what we're telling you. You might want to own this in HD. It's not necessarily my favorite Miyazaki, but the quality of it is something that speaks to me.
Absolutely. So Miri, what are you going to give Howl's Moving Castle?
7.5.
7 for me.